GM, everyone. Fresh branding, Craig. We're looking fresh as obviously lighting will change in the coming weeks as we get some new setups and whatnot. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed the new intro and obviously the new background. Massive shout out to Craig and his wife for sorting us out with that. But yeah, super pumped obviously to have it looks very clean, mate. It looks very aesthetic. It looks very professional, and that's the goal that we're going for. And I like the simple intro, Craig. It's much better than the one I designed, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. So, GM, mate, what do you think? How did your experience just go in that first minute there?
Yeah, well, look, since my wife made it, I probably have to say I love it, man. Hey. Oh, there we go. Technical difficulties. Yeah, Greeny and I were just talking off camera how annoying the cameras are if you touch them. So there we go. But no, that intro looks good. Our cheesy heads look great there, man. It was quite funny when we were making it to actually put your own head on there. Feels quite weird. Like it feels really cheesy. Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, it's probably better to have our heads there than some random shit. So
yeah, I think it's good. I kind of like it. It's personalized. Yeah. Professional.
If you're tuning in, you're probably tuning in because of us talking. So it probably makes sense to show that it's us. And if you don't like the heads, then you probably won't like the show. And that's okay. Not everyone will like our heads, that's for sure. They do look weird on there, but I think it looks cool.
I think
branding looks good. Trying to get the colors still right on the cameras. New cameras going, as I said to Greeny off camera, mine. So that's why my colorings, I don't have lipstick on, but it looks like I do. So that's kind of weird. My lips look so pink, but we'll work on that as the days go by. I was just chatting off screen to Greeny. I got a new camera. And the good thing about it is the quality is just ridiculous. The downside is that if you make minor changes on it, man, it just throws the whole aesthetic out 1% and it goes wild. So it's taken 2 days to get it to this point.
Yeah.
But happy Friday. And how good was it when I was going to bed last night? And man, my coins are pumping, Greeny.
Craig, the market is frothy, mate. The market is frothy. I want to touch base on the camera before we do dive in, guys. Don't worry. We're going to talk about a lot of alpha today. We're going to look at a lot of charts. I think it's probably a good time to go through, start scanning some potential plays. The meme coin market, Craig, is heated up. GTG, massive shout out to Scotty for getting me back in there in GTG. I'd faded it literally until more recently. I was swing trading high caps. They haven't really bounced a lot, like Troll, House, and those that they're just kind of noodling. But more recently, we dove even lower, and we're minting, we're printing money right now. So I love to see it. But yeah, Craig, the camera that you bought, was it the Elgato cam camera that like does attach to the top of your desktop screen? Or
it's luckily enough, actually, thanks to our sponsor.
Yeah. So it's good. You rate it?
Yeah, I rate it in the way that with time it'll become much better than a standard camera, like I had, because obviously I run off a Mac screen. The camera is good on the Mac screen, but it's never going to be as good as a dedicated cam. And obviously the lens is like a pinhole in my screen versus the lens on this bad boy is like fucking fat. Yeah. So obviously the light, I can let a lot more light in. Camera experts will know a lot more about me. My wife's really told me why it's better, but I'll just go with what she said.
I'm much novice as well, mate. Yeah.
The downside, like I said, is because it's a good camera and it's got so many settings you can adjust, it can be quite daunting at the start, and you're like, holy fuck. In other words, you can't just plug it and be like, let's go.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I almost sent it back yesterday because I said to my wife, fuck this camera. Like when I first turned it on, it looked like I had leprosy, man. Like I was so blotchy. I said to my wife, I was like, I can't fucking go on camera like this. And then I said to her, I was like, is this what I really look like? I was like, fuck. Like,
well, I love it, mate. No, I think you look good. I think
this looks good now. You should have seen it last night, bro. Anyway,
it's a what do we call it? A work in progress. Okay, it's a work in progress. Like, I mean, my light showed up yesterday. This actually, like, Craig, the current setup looks pretty good with this light. So the lighting for me looks good. I'll get some LEDs so to try and add some extra flavor to the room as well.
So but that's your new key light on now.
This is my new key light. Yeah, my old one's now not in use. So I mean, like, this is like that thing's like what, like 10 times bigger than this. So
is it? How big is the one is it the big square one like that?
Yeah, it's like I don't know how to, I can't really. You know what? I could turn it around here. I could show you. Hold on.
Doxing room.
Oh, doxing wedding photo.
Oh yeah. It's the one I've got to the side. Cool. That actually looks really good on yours.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So I'm pretty keen. Yeah. So I'll get some LED lights next week. I've still got a few other things to happen. Like my camera needs to go to no longer on the tripod stand. It needs to go to the one stand, which I'll put in the middle. Then I need to probably, my monitors and my my cables are just horrific. So I need to sort that out over the weekend. And then I got a stream deck as well. So, so I can't wait to have all that set up. It'll probably take a few days. It's the wiring as well. Like in a rental, Greg, the worst thing is like where they put the PowerPoints in a room. Like I would love to nearly put the desk on that wall and then have everything on the back here. But you can't because there's no bloody PowerPoint over here. So it's just like ridiculous. So
mine's the same. Obviously, you've seen in my photo, my desk's kind of not against the wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've only got one PowerPoint over there. It's wild, man. So yeah, I appreciate that. It takes a bit of time to get the cabling right, eh? Like we're gonna have to probably get an electrician in and put in extra PowerPoints. Obviously, luckily enough, because I own the house, I can just kind of do shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's like fuck. Then you got an electrician, you got to get a plasterer, a painter, a candlestick maker, everyone to fix my house. But anyway, the other thing that probably people won't think about is when you're setting up your cameras to flip yourself to look like you're talking to each other.
Yeah. No, that's why Eli's like, oh, you're back. And I was like, yeah, bro. Because like, look, like, so I
can talk that way. I've got to talk that way. So I can't flip mine like yours because I naturally want to talk that way, but I'd be talking away from you.
Exactly. So if I flip it to where it's supposed to be,
like, it's weird now.
And now the lighting looks weird too. Like, and also I'm like looking at my desktop screen this way, but it's showing me that I'm like, oh, but it's that way, you know, like it's so weird. So, and that actually looks bad. That's my worst side, guys. That's my
same. I raged because we actually had the camera on originally on the other side.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, no, we can't have it this way.
no, not the right
side. The side. I don't know why. It's just that. Yeah, I guess everyone's got their side, right? And I put it on the other side. I was like, that looks fucked. My head looks fucked. I look like I look like what's that? Those Stonehenge fucking heads, like.
Yeah.
Man.
Mount Rushmore and stuff. Yeah.
Just a big chin, big thick neck and chin, man. So either I've got a big fat neck now, my old age, or I don't know what it is, but I guess this looks better. So.
I love it, mate. I love it. No, well, I mean, let's dive into the alpha, obviously. Please go follow our new page, guys, GC Crypto. We're going to plug it for a while until we start growing a bit bigger, obviously. That's the main Twitter page. Over time, we'll create – oh, my God, my camera. Over time, we'll create a website. We'll obviously have a link tree and everything to all the links and whatnot. But for now, this is the main hub. You can watch all of our replays here as well, okay? Literally for the past sort of month or so or 2 months. So you can come and watch here. So go follow GC Crypto TV on Twitter. That's where we will have updates and everything as well. Now, Craig, the market's been really hot. And I mean, GTG's been printing money, mate, like left, right, and center. So like, I mean, this is the futures. Like we've just been absolutely mincing the market, as I said at the start.
280.
Lots of profit. And I mean, the meme coin trenches, mate, these are all just my trades. So, I mean, the green team, mate. So
you put 11 soul into something, you dirty dog, did you?
Yeah, I'll show you Lucky Coin right now, mate. So I'm still in Lucky Coin right now, actually. So what have I got? How do I show this?
Jesus.
So yeah, mate. No, I think this one could be an absolute sender. So I got in pretty early. So I've got 21 soul of profit. I really want to run this up to 100 soul. I'm sitting on my hands. I'm not taking profit aggressively this time. I've taken initials out, but I was like, look, sit back. You're in spot positions that are very healthy. Have a bit more risk on. If this runs to 50 million, if it runs to 30 million, I'll make 100 souls or 150 souls. I was like, that's the goal. I need to learn to be a little bit more patient with these more meme coin high risk trades, because that was my sort of biggest. Like, I mean, I've made a lot of profit trading, right? Like I've made a lot of profit because I had a plan. I stuck to a process. We took profits aggressively. Always initials out, took profits into pumps or sideways price action. But where I could have been better, Craig, was like, I can think of countless examples, right? Throughout 23, 24, FOG. I was in FOG at 4 million, right? It ran to what? 700 million or something ridiculous. I can't remember. Like, and I just swing trade. I made a 5X on it, but I just, instead of like just
sitting,
like, oh, this could be a big play. Like that's Mog. I was in Mog at 8 million. I was in Whiff at 200K. So like, I'm kind of like, look, I'm happy with my exposure over here in my spot bag. That is gonna accumulate wealth hopefully over time as the market pushes up. I might as well hold on to some things over here that could run up 100x, could run up 50x, but also could go to zero. Don't mind you, obviously, but these are the sort of things that you need to be like. My risk ever since accumulating more wealth, my risk has gone down, Craig. Is that the same for you, would you say, perhaps, as well?
Your risk tolerance?
My risk tolerance has actually gone down.
Yeah, mine's way down.
Do you think it's because you protect the money that you have made rather than still keeping the risk? So like the risks we were taking, or I was taking when I had like sub 100K, was way more compared to where I am now, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to just talk through this because a lot of people don't talk about this. So I'm very like, let's talk about this as a topic and then we'll dive into the charts. But like the psychology of portfolio structure and how that does change over time. And we talked about this quite often, about you specifically with just buying like a larger allocation of just BTC at 74K and at 83K and being like, well, if it goes to 120, I'll take that 30% move on a bigger bag and I don't have to stress less by actively trading or trying to keep up with the certain markets and stuff. So what do you think about all that?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like for instance, if you bought that 74K low, you're up about 30-40% on that spot buy on Bitcoin, for instance. Now that may not sound a lot, but if you're putting in, say I put in profits that's on something else that I've already done a 2, 3, 4x, and then I get another 0.5, it ends up being quite a lot of money. So now I have been for a long time now. I've been pretty defensive for about 6 months because obviously you and me made really good money from the bear to the transition to the bull. So I wanted to make sure the money that I made, I kept. And then the money that I made, I wanted to make work for me. But I figured, like I just said, if I've made profit on 5x's, 10x's, then I don't need to do another 10x on a 10x profit. On a 10x, I don't actually have to do anything with. But on a 10x profit, if I just 0.5 it extra, it's fucking ginormous, man. You just got to remember what the money originally was. And just tell yourself to fucking relax. Like if you turn $1 into 10, and then you take that 10 into 15, that's still 1 to 15. That's still fucking ginormous.
Yeah.
Rather than bet the 10, lose half, and end up turning the 1 into 5. But this is with larger amounts of money. So I was pretty risk off. I was pretty defensive because I didn't want to give my money back to the market because I'd executed fucking well. But now I spoke to you the other day, and I said to you, I need to start getting more risk on again, or I need to start being okay with taking riskier bets again, because I think the cycle's coming to an end per se-ish. I think the Bitcoin top it's not years away, it's months away. So, well, in my mind. So I'm planning for Bitcoin top to be Q4. So I'm kind of not strategizing, but I'm making sure that I'm not leaving my run too late either. I don't want to be in plays like I was last bull run, where when Bitcoin is pulling back, I was still 90% in. So I was very vulnerable to pullbacks. So I need to get more risk on, but no, certainly with my profit money that I've got in a wallet, I'm very careful. Like nothing pisses me off than seeing that wallet shrink, man.
I want to add to that too. I think for me, I'm kind of thinking like if as you, and I kind of agree, I think 6 to 12 months, I don't really see us going longer than 12 months. The thing I'm thinking is I might as well allocate more risk now because I'm comfortable with the spot bags that I have. Because if this leg does come sooner rather than later, it's going to be like, this is where you want to be in the positions now. That's why, like, I was in a few longs on higher leverage, and I decided to take profit yesterday on those because I was like, well, look, if we do pull back from here, I'd rather at least secure some of the allocation that I have there. Whereas I have a lot of positions on low lev that I was like, look, I'm happy to sit in this volatility and chop for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, if it's so be. And as long as the funding fees aren't too much, then I could really see that next leg up, and I'll be very advantageously in a good position, right, on a lot of those sort of top alt and memes. But I decided to, take profit on a couple because I was like, well, like if we do reject from 110 again and we do go back down to 100K, then I'll be very grateful because I have protected my downside losses. I've taken some profit on a really aggressive and nice swing trade on a few tokens, which then puts me in the camp that it's all about how you allocate your risk. Too many people do the wrong thing, Craig. Honestly, like I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just saying, like portfolio structure, portfolio risk is so important. And I think a lot of people get it wrong. Like, I mean, a lot of people do it in different ways depending on their risk tolerance, right? Like I know I was listening to your show with Busy the other day, and I mean, he's allocating just a shit ton of money to memes, right, over time. And he knows what he's doing. He's in particular memes, but he's willing to lose 250K to make 3 million, right? Like that's the sort of level he's in. Whereas other people like Pio are just like, I just want to buy as much Bitcoin, as much MicroStrategy as possible, and then I'll throw $1,000 at SBX, or I'll throw $1,000 at Filecoin. So even that, like it does depend on your personal situation, obviously, but in the same circumstance, it's like, well, for me, I'm happy with my, I should really sit down and just nut out the numbers so then I can speak to it a little bit more with accuracy. But I would say like my portfolio right now is like 40% is in spot. And then on top of that, I would say 20% is spread across obviously the big pudgy, the little pudgy, and a few other things, which I would classify nearly as spot as well, Craig. So with those positions in mind, I'm kind of like, well, I should be a little bit more risk on with 10% of my portfolio. Like I shouldn't be like, I'm not trying to protect that money over here. That 5 to 10% could actually run up and turn into say 40% of my portfolio if I trade it right and if I'm active in that market and take a bit more risk on in the degen side of the market. So I think that's something that, and you literally have identified that more recently too, because we had that convo about maybe it is time, like the fact that BTC is holding up above now, or not above 110, but at 109, like the fact that we're holding those sort of levels, it shows you that liquidity should, in theory, come down. Now, I know BTC dominance is still very high. It's at 65%. And I had a look this morning with GTG on the live stream, and I still think it has higher and higher timeframes. I think it can get to 70, but it doesn't mean that in the short term, we might see a bit of a lapse in BTC dominance, and then memes, alts, and low caps really do go pretty crazy. So what do you think about that? Like, is the time to maybe allocate whatever the percentage is? Say you're really risk on, or you're financially stable in your real life, and 50% of your portfolio is what you're looking to allocate into high risk plays. Like, do you think that the time in the market is now to be doing that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I do. And I think with Pepe and Mog leading the pumps at 20% on the day or whatever they were, to me that's an indicator that people are starting to get more risk on, like I am. So I feel like the things that I'm thinking in my head, it looks like the market's thinking similar. It also means that the market's up to speed with me. I'm not ahead of the market either. So although I am in Pepe and Mog, I now wish, and this is such obvious chat, I wish I was in deeper. But I also, like you, wanted to make sure that Bitcoin wasn't about to plummet and those coins get absolutely decimated, because if Bitcoin pulls back, Mog and Pepe are pulling back a lot. Deeper. But like you just said, with Bitcoin sitting at these levels, I'm like, now I get edgier about not having a ticket to the show, because I do have tickets, but not front row with those coins. On what I mean by that is size, but Bitcoin looks like it could break up any moment, bro. It could go now, but it could also still pull back for 2 months. So all it is, we're at the top of the range now. So it's not like I can say, yay, we are going higher. This could just be the hey, and the next week's the the bottom of the range again. So I've got to also be careful not to go, this is the time, this is the moment. I don't know if it is. I had a friend, he might be watching now, it's an IRL friend, and he was mentioning me yesterday, and he wanted some futures trading advice. And I've tried to explain to these people, I'm not very good, but people still and he was showing me a stop loss. And it was funny because you and me spoke on show, and his stop loss is exactly where that Bitcoin wick went, and it stopped at spot. I don't know what it took him out, whatever you fucking call it. So his stop loss got hunted or taken down. So he's
as in he was short.
Yeah, he was short, bro. He was short, and I get it. I said to him, look, I get why you're shorting from here, but I said, like in a bull run, you've got to be quite skilled. Like shorting from there, actually, you and I spoke on stream yesterday. It was probably the spot to short from. But in bull runs, man, you got to be. I've just guessed what I'm saying is be careful, because Bitcoin can rip at any time, and also you can have wicks like that just take you out, and now it heads down. So now he's no longer in position. He's been stopped out, and now it can go down. So now he'll be right, but he still doesn't get the win.
No, but this goes back on the conversation we're having with Eli, about leverage trading and about short, about how it all works, right? And you need to be aware, where you think you should put your spot loss. Your stop loss is exactly where price is probably going to go.
Exactly. And when he was showing me his stop loss, I was thinking, fuck, that's exactly as the market maker where I would take you out, brother. Before I send it down, I'd send it up a bit.
Because I'll speak to that the other day. So I took an ETH long initially, right? The other day. And it was off this big key level that we've obviously been in for a while. Okay. It was off about 2.41. I put my stop loss below this swing low, and I was silly because I didn't go down to low timeframes and double check the swing lows from, like, say, the 4 hour to the 12 hour and that sort of stuff. And I got stopped out. And then I was like, well, hold on. We just grabbed this liquidity on a low time frame. I'm an idiot for not thinking about that.
Yeah.
I re-entered, and then sure enough, we went absolutely crazy, right? Yeah. So like that, you gotta, leverage and like futures and funding and stuff it's a different ball game.
It's like you're hunting and you're being hunted. It's so different. It's a weird feeling, isn't it?
Exactly. And like, if you're trying to short here, like the reason I haven't shorted is because the market's hot right now. Like, and your bias should be long in a bull market. Like, and your bias should be short in a bear market. Once there's a top clearly in, like, the trend, like, I mean, a range, there's some great traders who trade range. Like I said yesterday, like, TradeXO is probably one of the best ones out there. But like, when the market is trending like this, okay, it's so much easier to trade, right? Because okay, well, any pullback is probably an opportunity, right? Until you start to see, okay, well, now we're definitely in a range, okay? Now, you can still trade ranges. And I mean, TraderXO is a great example of someone who trades ranges as publicly well known as probably anyone in crypto. So he trades ranges, right? Whereas Trader Main prefers to trade swing bias like this, where he goes from obviously big lows and big highs. So what you can do is obviously short during periods of time like that, and then long, or have a bias of longs during periods of time like that. So I like to trade in the middle of both. But for me, I was like, look, the market looks really good here on low time frames. I was having a look, like a lot of charts look like this, where they have come out and essentially displace the previous. Okay, so we have lower highs here. We have resistance above this level. Okay, we bounce off key Fibonacci, shallow fibs too on a lot. Okay, so 382 for hype shows how strong this pullback was. Now that we have a little breakout on trend line, like this, I was seeing this and I was like, I don't know if I want to short BTC at this level. Where I would potentially short is if we do take out the swing fail pair of all-time high. If we come up here, I would gladly let price do this. And if we start to close back below, that's where I become interested in the short. And my stop loss would be probably above the previous high or the high that we make. Okay. Like that would give me a lot more confidence that I'm happy in that short, rather than trying to play the liquidity game up here. Because as you said, you're going to get stopped out, particularly if you're not preferencing high time frames. Yeah. The fact that we're now above this 109 level, which is the previous all-time high, well, I mean, it does vary on different exchanges. So, I mean, we should use an exchange. So let's go to MEXC, for example. But we are below on MEXC. So that's an interesting mark. This is Blowfin. I got Binance here as well. Let's have a look. So Binance is probably the most liquidity one, but we are actually below that, Craig, on that chart. So very interesting to have a look here. And I mean, like, if you are a good skilled trader, then you'd be in profit here, but your stop loss might have been hunted unless you had a very clear stop loss above that sort of level, right? Where you haven't tagged that liquidity. So probably up here. So I don't know. As you said, I wasn't too keen to short this, particularly heading into the 4th of July weekend. You just don't know what can happen. And I'm like, my preference is long. So I would much rather miss a short here down to here, and then I'd be looking to long or buy spot down here again. So that's kind of like what I would be, where I'm currently looking is I'm happy in my current positions. If we go higher, sick. If we go lower, probably opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I much prefer just I just want. I mean, I've said this for weeks. I want another go. I want another bite lower. One more bite, man. I feel great. I just want one more bite at that trend line, bro. I need more. I need more Bitcoin. I need more MOG. I need more Pepe. So I don't know, man. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I don't think we get it, personally. I don't think we get it.
Neither do I, man. I think it's going to be shallow. I don't think they're going to give us entries until it rips. And then they're going to trap everyone. Retails, I was telling my wife, I gave her a little preview of what I think the market will do over the next 3 to 6 months, pretty much what I said on stream, whereby it's going to be shallow pullbacks, no big entries. And the only time you're going to get deeper pullbacks is once you get after ascend. Yeah. So retail's going to get trapped, unfortunately, here. And I'm going to get messages probably at about 120 something K Bitcoin saying, hey, man, crypto looks great. I'd be keen to get into it. I'm waiting for those on Facebook. Once I get those, that's sell, bro. Immediately.
Well, I mean, if we take a look at this as well, we just had the most bullish monthly close in history. So we just closed above, like up here at 106K. So that's like the most bullish, like, and that's 2 months in a row. We had 2 continuing months in a row of closes above 100K, whereas previously we kind of rejected the monthly option there at 102. So it shows me strength in. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean, like, as you can see, we are overextended, but we're overextended on the monthly, but we're well above the pivot. So momentum takes us higher there, right? So, I mean, if we have a look even at the 3 month, like, we're overextended, but we're so far above the pivot that momentum is still going higher. So interesting, very interesting market right now. I mean, BTC dominance, Craig, still, I was saying this morning as well, like this, I mean, this has just been on an absolute tear since October 2022, which was really like I think the lows were, no, the lows were mid-year from memory. Where were they? The low was January 23, and no, so the low was October 2022. So pretty much where BTC put in a bottom on dominance is where we've just been ripping from there. So I still think this can go to 70 personally. I'm a big believer that this is just such strong momentum, and with the institutional interest and countries and hedge funds and blah, 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 the ETFs, like, you just can't ignore BTC these days now. You literally can't. So I think we obviously, if you do zoom in on lower time frames, we could potentially break down and have a shallow correction. Okay, we could have a shallow correction here. Okay, you could even pull it back to here and have a shallow sort of correction. But even then, like, it might be just something like this, Craig, where it's a 10% pullback or 5% pullback, and then we rally again, right? So
yeah,
interesting times in the market right now. I think it's just sitting patient. Too many people probably overtrade. Too many people probably buy the green FOMO pumps and sell the red dumps, Craig. So it's literally like, times like this are probably a really good time, unless you're a skilled trader or in a very good group, then you probably shouldn't be trading that often right now.
It was funny, and I agree with you. It just made me think. I was laughing at myself yesterday because when everything was pumping, I sat down with my laptop last night, as you do, to see how much money I was making, because I felt really smart. So I was opening up my wallets with, with my MOG DCA, my Pepe DCA, my Bitcoin bags. I bought at 74. I wanted to see how smart I was. And it was funny. I was looking at all of them, and then I was like, fuck, I might buy some more MOG and Pepe. Look at them fucking sending. Look, I might buy some more Pengu. And I had to actually slap my hand and stop me from buying.
Yeah.
Just because I was getting like excited. And I was like, fuck, the charts look good. I want to enter more. And I actually had to stop myself. So it was it's the first time I felt like that in a while. Where I felt kind of get that sort of green envy or green-eyed monster comes out, where you're like, everything's, I guess I was starting to feel like I'm going to miss the boat.
Yeah.
And I'm sure others are feeling like, if I was feeling like that, like seeing that chart, like I'm in it. So then I said to myself, I was like, what are you fucking chasing for, dude? You're actually in. Like, you're not out. So just relax. I mean, I was also looking at Bitcoin. We'll come back to this now. I was looking at Bitcoin on the weekly, and I was like, man, that could easily pull back and do a double bottom.
Yeah.
Like, I could see that pulling back and bouncing one more time at 101.
Yeah.
Like, quite easily. I don't know if it will, but it's just a pattern that I wouldn't be surprised to see. That will take some time to play out if that is the case. So I was just saying to myself, look, it could rip from here, but it could come down over the weekly and actually have to retest that 100, 101.
Mm-hmm.
I can't make up my mind. It's so interesting, isn't it? I think Bitcoin's at a fascinating level. This might be, I don't know if this is interesting for other people, but for me, just knowing Bitcoin fairly well now, once you get to understand the way it moves and dances and talks, I actually don't know what it's going to do. And it's the first time in a while that I'm like, I feel like I'm in the dark, and I'm trying to get a torch and be like, I don't know. What are your thoughts? What's your gut feeling up from here? Retest the 101.
Yeah, I'll show you. Like, hold on, let me. It's going to ruin all my levels, but oh well. How do I just?
Greeny, it's exciting not knowing, because I like having to learn on the spot, and I kind of like the fact that I'm letting the market lead.
Yeah,
which makes me feel good about the way I'm trading. I'm letting the market show me its hand, and that's good. I think rather than me saying what I wanted to do, I'm like, show me what you want to do, and I'll just go, okay. Sorry, Greeny.
No. Very fair. No, well, let's step it back and start on really high time frames. So we obviously just had a 6-month close and a quarterly close. So your preference should always be to look at high time frames. Okay. And just look at this, Craig. We've been up only. I mean, this isn't the in here. I'll pull out the index.
6 months.
I'll just hold on. There we go. So I'll pull out the index. Okay.
So 6 months up.
So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are now in our 6th 6-month period. I mean, I put a tweet out actually saying that we needed to close above 93 to maintain that. So this is like the first time in history.
That's a great chart. People that say, "Are we in a bull run?"
Yeah. This is the first time in history we have had 6 months. Oh. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 closures of 6 months bullish far out, man. I can't. It's the end of the week, bro. I just literally can't even speak. Bullish candles, Greeny. Come on, good. Like, so this is like nuts, right? Now, that's the first thing that you need to see here. So, like I've been saying for a long time, we could pull all the way back to 46, and I'd be pretty comfortable. And I'd say that's probably a really good buy because that's the previous time that we had a high. So it's pretty nice. So, like, delicious. I mean, like, for context, right? Like, for context, this is where we were last cycle, right? Oh, I've got too many lines now. But for context, we could have pulled back all the way to 13K and I would have been still comfortable there. And we didn't. We've pulled back to 15K during the FTX. So big levels to watch. And as you can see, if it does go back down to that, it is fair. I mean, if we do go back and have a look at history as well. So how far did we pull back here? So that's the key level there at about what? 708. We got nowhere near close. So over time, you would expect maybe it does get closer, but as you can see, that's the key level there on high time frames. Let me take them off again. But yeah, the fact that we've had 6 in a row, Craig, just it defeats everybody who thinks that we haven't been in a bull market since the start of 2023. Now, yeah, I think we've been in a bull market since the end of 2023. Okay, now I've explained this, I've detailed this very clearly multiple times in the past, and how I determine that is this bit here where we broke out and we had a higher high compared to the highs down here. Sorry, on the weekly, it's going to be more clear here. So this period here, I mean, I need a clean chart. I need a clean chart. How do I just remove all my drawings? There we go.
Oh, yeah.
So just to be really clear, so this here was the high that we needed to overtake in the middle of 2022 and 2023 that we needed to take out for me to be like, okay, well, that's the bull market is back, right? Because this is our range.
That was a disgusting range. I remember this. I remember this area so well, bro. I remember the emotions of this time, and fuck, people were so down. It was there were people like who just couldn't, even when we broke out, even 3 months later, I remember there were people in the group chat saying we're not in a bull run. And it's interesting now looking back, because these were people that I looked up to as traders. Yeah. And I remember saying in group chats, we're in a bull run, and them arguing, and I'm like, it's just not to sound right, but I was right. But it's just interesting. Also, looking at that Bitcoin chart, it makes trading look so simple.
Yeah, like, that's why you zoom out. Zoom out, man. Zoom out, and then if you see
money on that.
Exactly. So like this is, and then again, this is zoomed in on a weekly just to show you where I determined that a bull market has started. Okay, we rejected here, so I would have classified that as no. We are still bear market here. Okay. Our first start of a signal is this big wick here where we had buy pressure, but that is a higher low now. Okay, so that's the first signal that goes, okay, well, okay, we're starting to take off here. Then we start to set a high. So this is a high compared to this high, and we're back in this liquidity zone over here. So we've outperformed this range. We have left this range. We deviated below. We got back in. Okay. Then you're watching, okay, is this a massive deviation back into the range and we continue like this? Okay. It wasn't. It was our third higher low. 1, 2, 3. It was a higher low above the breakout zone that was key. Okay, this was resistance. It was a breakout there. We then obviously had even a double bottom, you could call it as well. And then we had equal bottoms here. And that was where, and I remember, Craig, because I bought Solana.
Obvious, hey, looking at that structure, you're like, how could no one see that?
Yeah, so BTC.
The emotions at the time don't allow you to see. Like looking at that, bro, I should have thrown my whole house at it there.
Yeah, literally.
But I remember even being scared. I remember I don't think I grabbed my nuts and bought till about, I think I've said on stream, it was between 25 and 32.
Yeah.
When I actually went, and looking at that, I'm like, I should have been so much clearer, but the emotions. So for everyone listening, I guess what I'm trying to say is remember what we're saying here. And this is a note to myself. that when the bear comes, just look at the charts, look at the structure, and get rid of that, that fear that's just haunting you.
Yeah.
Just looking at that, I'm like, that was so obvious.
Yeah, so BTC, this moment here was where I would classify it. So mid 2023 is where I would say, okay, well, it's a high low here. This looks like BTC is going pretty well here from that point onwards. So you did still have a chance to buy BTC sort of between this range here as well, right? Now, the difference was altcoins was slightly later. Okay, so Solana here, and I've got it drawn, fantastic. Okay, so Solana here was a little bit lower. So again, same bias. Okay, high low, high low, high low. Equal highs means that this is our key resistance level. Okay, this is the level we have to break for us to change from a bear trend to a bull trend. Okay, so that's the key level. And again, I publicly have tweets. I can literally show you where I was like, I think the bull market's starting, and also I just bought Solana at $17. So this high low here is where it was like the last time I bought not the last, I bought a bit at $30 as well, but during this breakout. But yeah, no, $17. I was like, you know what? We have high lows here. We're starting to consolidate here during this period of time. Okay, the trend starts to be shifting. I mean, like again, if you want to use simple trend lines, there's a trend line here. Okay, we've broken above that now. Okay, so that's showing me okay on lower time frames. We are now breaking back above. We then have a higher hike here compared to these. Then we absolutely ripped right after that. We went absolutely nuts. So people that tell me that the bull market didn't start till later or the bull market hasn't started, this is when the bull market started, October 2023.
Long time ago. Yeah.
Long time ago. So we've been in a bull market coming up on 2 years now, nearly. So historically, that's traditionally where we do top out, is about 2 and a bit years after we sort of break out. But again, each cycle is different. The accumulation period of, I mean, BTC is one you go to, but the accumulation period here, Craig, was nuts. Okay, this was you could say that this is the range that we had to break out of in 2020. Whenever this was, 2020 to 2021. So that was the range. We had deviation. This was COVID. And then I think because of COVID, we actually ranged for another 224 days. If COVID didn't happen, I think we probably would have been there.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. I entered just as it started breaking out there. That's when I came into crypto. Feb 21's me. Yeah. So it's funny watching the rip. That's why I felt so smart when I first entered the market, man. How could I get a trade wrong? It just fucking ripped from when I entered. That's why I was like, I'm so smart. I'm so good at trading. And then the bear market came. And I was like, I'm not.
So the opportunity, the best opportunity, like we can actively trade all the time and make a lot of money. Memecoin people have made a lot of money this cycle. But the best opportunity is literally during this range that you only get for a short amount of time in bear markets. I mean, this was a 280-day range. Okay, the range here, I mean, you could even call this like the bear market way back here as well, I suppose. Like here, like that's a consolidation phase as well. But I mean, like you could call that period there, I suppose, a bear market. So even then, like it went sideways for a long period of time, 154 days. This one went sideways for 500 days. So this was a long accumulation zone at these levels.
And then look at the rip though.
And then look at the rip. Exactly. And then look at the rip here. Same again. So this is why I'm like, okay, I think BTC is changing as an asset. Like, and I really do think that. And I think I don't know. Depends how high we go, but maybe this is going to be our future range that we come back to. Maybe we don't even get that low, and maybe we only test this order block sort of history right about that. Like maybe that's where we come back to in the bear market, and we start like maybe we go crazy for the next sort of 6 to 12 months. Okay, we go up here. Okay, we do something like this. Okay, do top, and then it's just like okay, bleed, and then you range, and then that's the area you want to be buying again.
Agreed. That's going to be a magnificent time. That's when, if the viewers watching us now stick around with us for that period there, those are the people that will be saying, we did 100x, or we did a 10x, or we did a whatever x. And those are the easiest 100x's. They're much easier than now. Now's fucking hard. Yeah. Really hard. Everyone's locked in now too.
I'll add a point here. There's two different strategies. You could just DCA into BTC so that you're not trying to time a bottom, or you could wait, as I just said, for structure breaks on low time frames. So you're looking at the lows, you're looking at the highs on high time frame. This is on a weekly chart. So this is going to occur over months. Okay. This is going to be the bear market year of 27, 28, possibly 29, who knows? And you're watching structure over months. Okay. So you need to zoom out, you need to look, and then you go, okay, well, over a month period, we're starting to put in a higher low here. Okay. So in theory, okay, that shows me that's a bullish change in structure, break of market structure. I then go, okay, plow your money in at that. If it goes up, sick. Okay. Hopefully you still have some liquidity over on the side, but market structure is starting to break. We have a high, now we have a high low, and that's how you kind of see the signal. Same on I mean, picking a top is a lot harder in my opinion than a bottom.
Hard, bro. Tops are like
I would definitely say that. So, like, I mean, we had a bearish divergence at the top of last cycle. Do I have it on this time frame? Let's have a look. Yeah, we did. So as you can see, so I mean, like really interesting. That high was a bearish divergence. But if we have a look here, so bearish divergence is just where your RSI, your stochastic momentum, etc. They're all kind of similar, right? Your moving averages, okay, they display the opposite of what price did. So price went higher, but the moving averages went lower. Thus, you can see we were overextended as well at these sort of levels, and we had momentum to the downside, and that was bearish divergence playing out. I mean, this here as well, the bearish divergence from 2017 to 2019 was also played out. Okay, and even here more recently, had a bearish divergence from that high to the high here at earlier at the start of this year or the end of last year, and we did play out a really corrective move. Like we went down 31%. Like that's quite a large move on BTC. So it pays to actually look on high time frames again. This is a monthly chart. Watch for bearish divergences. Now, are they going to call a top? Not necessarily, but it might show you that there's momentum shift, and rather than trying to like completely sell everything, it might be okay, we're starting to form bearish divergence here. Maybe we get a triple, but you know what? We actually could get a triple drive of bearish divergence on this high potentially here. So that's something to keep an eye on. And if you have triple drive of bearish divergence, that is more bearish. That would be like, okay, if we do push up more quickly here, then I'm in the camp that, okay, that's probably a good sign to take some profit off the table, cross the bags. Now, again, each asset is its own. But BTC, if it pushes up and creates triple bearish divergence, then keep an eye on the other your lower caps, right? So your top bolts, your memes, like they might run up a little bit more as the liquidity spreads, because that traditionally is what happens. Maybe it changes this cycle, we don't know. But that's the sort of signals that you can look to not to try and time a top, but to look for when a top can occur.
Yeah, just for clues, I suppose, right?
Exactly. And then the same strategy, go in and then have a look on the high time frames. Okay, so let's go look at the high of 2021. Okay, let's go see. Was there an opportunity for you to see that we started breaking structure? Okay, so we have a look here. Okay, so not only on high time frames did we have that bearish divergence. Okay, this is our range. Okay, this is our range. There's our range. Okay, so we were consolidating. We went up to the top. We went down below. We have a deviation below. Okay, we went back to top, deviation above. We had a bearish retest here. So this sign here is the first signal that we have a lower high.
Mm-hmm.
First signal that we have a lower high. Let me zoom in so it's a bit easier for everyone to see. First signal we had a lower high. Then we started to create lower lows from this structure up here. Okay, so that's our lower highs, and then literally we capitulated from that low to the bottom of the range. So that was very aggressive there. Yeah. Then we started to close below the range. Okay, close below the range. That's a sign as well. Maybe I should take some profit off the table. The next one is a bearish retest. Okay, we failed to, as before, we had a deviation below and we closed back in. So that's okay. Whereas here, we had a deviation, but we failed to get back in. That here, this bearish retest, and then that would have been, okay, so that's the first sign here. Second sign here, when we lost the range. Third sign there. That's three clear signs to me in price structure. Maybe we're going lower, okay? So those are the sorts of things that you can apply on again, this is on a daily chart after looking at the weekly and on the monthly chart to then go, okay, well, should I be not trying to short either? Like trying to short a top's also very hard, but should I be looking to scale out profit, Craig? Or should I be looking to maybe de-risk back into stables or start accumulating more BTC over other assets if that's what you want to do long-term? Okay, those are the sort of conversations that you need to have at those sort of levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's we'll be having these conversations probably sooner rather than later with these sort of structures when it's going to break down, won't we?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to get the euphoria and the pumps first, but yeah, like you said, these are things you can look out for to give you clues that the music might be stopping pretty soon. Yeah. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that on the channel, guys. So don't worry. Hopefully, we catch it and we can sort of not tell you guys what to do, but let you guys know what our thoughts are and what we're going to be doing. Certainly, but no one can predict what's going to happen. You just got to go with the clues that you've got and do the best with what your knowledge and also, I guess, how you trade and what you're in. And there's a lot to it, but looking at that, there were certainly clues, weren't there, in 21? Clear.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like we are still technically in a range here, so we're not bearish just yet. So, as I said before, so the key point here would be, okay, if we start to I mean, this is still lower highs, but it looks like we want to take out this high here. But if we start to come back down here, not saying that this is the top, it just might be another reaccumulation period of time. Okay. That's the other thing. But still, you could still take profits if you lose this zone here. Okay. If you start to lose this, de-risk. Okay. Then you might get some better opportunities as well. Or that might be the bear market. So I don't know. These are the sort of things that you do need to be aware of.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably pretty good for everyone to see, Greeny, I think. And it also shows sometimes it's better to exit 10% down from the top than hold on, hope you get another bite to sell higher, because it may just keep breaking down like it did in 21, where we went down to 15, 17, something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, the conversation we also have with this in collaboration with what I just showed you guys is that time. Now, as I just said, we've been in a bull market. We've had 6 months, and let's go back to that because that's such an important point. We've had we're in our six-month period where price has been up only. So time, we are closer, as Craig said at the start of the show, to the end of the cycle compared to the start. Okay. So if we were like here, right? If we're only just breaking below the previous, like, what's this, 6-month candles, then I'd be like, okay, well, time's on our side. Even last year in 2024, we're consolidating. I was like, no, we're going to go high. Now I'm like, well, you got to keep the thought, okay, well, the high could be in. It might not be in. We might go higher very quickly. We might go higher in 6 months, but that's probably going to be the high. Like, that's probably going to be the high of the cycle, at least for probably the majority of assets, right? So these are the sort of conversations you need to have. And with yourself, with other people, with a supportive community. I mean, we talk about this stuff every day in GTG, so you can come and join us. But yeah, those are the sort of things that you do need to have, Craig. But yeah, it's just a wild chart to me, this the 6-month chart. Hey, it's nuts.
It's concerning in a way as well. For me, it just says to me, just be aware that this needs to cool off, man. Like, that's outrageous. Like, you could easily say to me that that's the top of the bull run. I'll be like, yeah, okay, reasonable.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't look like we fell short. Not really. No. That looks great, man. If you had showed me that in 21, I would have been like, hell yeah, fuck yeah, that looks like a great bull run coming up.
I
don't think other people probably feel like that because maybe they're in more alts and they haven't really had an alt season per se. I think we have had an alt season. It just hasn't been a all alt season. It's been a specific altcoin season we've had. Obviously, Solana ripped, Hype ripped. There's certain alts that have ripped. So we haven't had an alt season. We've had alts kick ass, but it's been
different, right? Like, but we can talk about that too. Like, each cycle has been different, and that's always going to happen, right? In tech, let alone just crypto, right? And the key thing to take away from that is don't think that things you learn in the past or ways that you made money in the past is going to be applied today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, right? Yeah. You need to adjust. You need to adapt. That is why so many ETH people got wrecked because they did not go to Solana this cycle. That is why so many people who were on Solana and that's at the top got wrecked as well at the top because they were still trying to trade meme coins when the meme coin meta died, and you probably should have pivoted to airdrops or InfoFi. So being able to establish these macro shifts in trends is what Craig and I have done successfully all cycle. And that just takes years of experience, I'm going to say. Like, I can pick a trend because you've been in the market for a long enough time that you're like, okay, well, this is getting a bit saturated now. This is getting a bit too hot. Okay, time to de-risk, time to scale out, look for the next opportunity that arises. So, I mean, I tweeted this out recently, Craig, about a month ago now. The second time in history that BTC has had 5 consecutive 6-month bullish candles. So, nuts, man.
It is absolutely nuts. I've got someone in the chat on Abstract just asking, what's it? If the Fed ceases QT, would we go lower though? No, I actually think there's enough catalysts coming up that we actually go higher. So don't think that or Greeny saying that this is the top. I don't think it is. No. And the good news is I actually think with rate cuts and that probably on the near horizon, there's a lot of catalysts that are going to push us higher, possibly in a really frothy way, man. So I actually think we could go quite a lot higher. I'm just careful to say that on the show because I just don't want people to hold out like I did and wait for 200K Bitcoin. It just doesn't happen. But let's put it this way. I'm really excited to see what the news stories are going to be for the reason why Bitcoin rips fucking high. They're going to feed us some some story, right? Just like they do with it coming down, they'll feed us a story why there's a bear market, Trump's to blame. It'll be something like that. And I'm looking forward to them telling us why the bull market's just ripping higher. So that'll be interesting because it'll be a load of bullshit. But I think there's enough catalysts coming that I wouldn't bet. I'm not short, bro. Fuck that. I think we rip way higher.
The last time we had 5-6 month closures bullish in a row was the 2017 market, right? So 2015 through to 2017. So this would be the first time in history if we close above the level to hold is 107 at the end of 2025. If we close above 107 at the end of 2025, it'd be the first time in history, which is just like when you think about an appreciating end of the week, guys, apologies, an appreciating asset, right? So you think about it from a market cap perspective. The fact that you have now broken a record on a multi-trillion-dollar asset is just wild to me, Craig. It is wild to me that you can do this. But it goes back to the whole fundamental thesis that we discussed earlier in the show. BTC has changed as an asset this cycle.
Agreed. And actually, I got Mitch in on Abstract Talking as well, and he's like 200K Bitcoin. Craig, say it out loud. But he's right. He said he's seeing a big shift in retail mindset over the last 12 months. Certainly towards Bitcoin, it's had, I think people have softened to it, which is nice. I don't know about the oldies. I don't know how, I haven't spoken to enough.
They probably don't need to, I don't think.
Yeah.
Probably the consensus there.
Agreed. Like my mum and dad's age in their 70s, God forbid me saying this, it's probably too late. Like it's too late to have a long output on Bitcoin saying I'm going to put 10 grand in and I'm going to ride it for 3 cycles, time's ticking for them. So for them, they've made a lot of money in property like everyone did back then.
Yeah.
They're comfy. They got their home. They don't need to like go into Bitcoin really. So I think you're right. Whereas people in their 40s now in my age group and yours in their 30s are probably like, fuck, do I need to put some of my retirement money into this?
Correct.
Just in case, like, not I need to, but what if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
And this thing does actually go.
Yeah.
So I think those conversations, you see, the problem is I don't work in the corporate world anymore, so I don't know what the water cooler chats are like. I don't really have I'm not a good person to talk to about what normies are thinking because I'm not around them enough anymore. So I've got to be careful, but yeah.
I've spoken to a few people who don't, like, they always ask, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, well, I trade and create content in crypto. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. They're like, oh, yeah, sick, okay. And then
my doctor was fizzing on it. He thought it was so cool.
Yeah. And so their main consensus is always like, oh, I got a mate who did this. Oh, I've heard this on this specific meme coin or whatever it is. I've got this coin, this token. I'm like, majority of the conversations I have, I've never heard of these things, right? And so I again, not financial advice, but I speak to them and I say, honestly, I think just buying and holding Bitcoin is
probably. I said to my doctor who did my hand.
Yeah.
He was buzzing out. He goes, what do you do full time? And I said, train. He goes, full time. I'm like, yeah, full time. And he's like, he was just blown away and really fascinated. And he was like, well, tell me, what's your play? And I said, oh, to be honest, obviously I don't want to tell you what to do with your money. But if you don't want to be active in trading and you don't actually have to learn anything, I'd probably just DCA $50 a week into Bitcoin, whatever you can afford, just a little bit of sprinkle, just lunch every week, just lunch, So if it burns, well, you've lost some lunch, who cares, kind of. And if it rips, fucking, you've now got dinner instead of lunch. So I think simple way, just this is what I should have done, is just $50 a week over the last whatever amount of years, and I would have been probably higher than trading. Possibly. No, probably not, but yeah. Story. Rewind.
Yeah, we've done well this cycle on a range of trends, sorry. So it's, we're lucky because we have the time and the information, the community to do it.
He can't be trading meme coins during the day. So someone like him, a professional, just I think buy Bitcoin for a decade. And I think in a decade's time, looking back, you going on the prior price action, which we can't rely on, just to cover my ass here, it looks like not a bad bet. But just remember, this could go to zero. But I don't think this goes to zero now.
Well, I listened to your show with Busy, and he reckons that BTC could become, what was his term? I'm trying to remember. Run it back. He said the mining, something about the mining. Like if miners have no incentive to do it because of was it price? I can't remember what it was or what. Like then no one's going to mine it. But I was just thinking, like my thoughts were like, but that's just like one singular view. I do agree miners are important, but like what 99% of BTC has already been mined. So if the miners just turn off their computers, sick, we just have a lower supply. So that actually puts more pressure on.
Yeah.
We had that deep conversation with Pio in a range of ways about why BTC is separate to gold, which is separate to a stock, which is separate to cash, right? And the whole like developing side of the world, that those countries that, or people that are in those countries for BTC is wealth accumulation as a store of wealth, as a store of cash. Like, I don't know. What do you think about that? Because I thought that was an interesting take by him.
I think the same. I was thinking about it yesterday or last night, and I was thinking, because obviously with USDC, I've seen them do clawbacks or have the ability to stop you transferring the funds. So say I make 100 grand, convert that Bitcoin to USDC, they do have the ability, I believe, to freeze my payment, freeze my transfer of those funds. In other words, I can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
The more I thought about that, the more I thought how bad that is. And I was like, for me, the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, so what's my life raft? Where can I put money where no one can fuck with it? And there was only one answer, Matt.
Yeah.
There's only one answer. And then I was like, I need to be all in on Bitcoin, man. Like, I cannot think of another life raft or life jacket that I could throw myself better than this. Because if they can freeze stables, then I've got no safety there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was just trying to think, how can I make myself bulletproof?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see a vehicle better than Bitcoin, and that just makes me think this over time is going so much higher, because that realization I've had, and it's pretty concrete now. It'd be quite hard to talk me out of it. Like, you'd have to come with a lot of info now, man, for me to change my mind. A lot of data, not just your feelings. With that in mind, I think a lot of people on the planet will get to that realization at some point. That's when this is going to hit critical mass, which makes me think Bitcoin, $1 million Bitcoin is probably not crazy, dude.
Nah. No, when you think about it from a worldwide perspective, this is,
because I'm like very different to most.
Cuts out the middleman. I know it's shit. I know it's hard to transfer at this period of time, but the whole process that it cuts out the middleman, it cuts out the banks. Like, really interestingly, I think I've mentioned this before too. Australia still, all the banks don't want to, like, if I want to get a home loan, they're like, no, I don't want to deal with a crypto business. I'm like, because it's literally the opposite of what you do. And like, you don't want to have that. Well, one, that it's volatile. I understand that. But two, it's maybe not as consistently safe. Sure, I understand that. But three, it's a competitor to them, Craig. It's a competitor to banks moving forward. So I mean, like, and Six Fields says in Oz, I still get laughed at. I mean, a lot of my mates are very, very smart. They're doctors, they're engineers, they're mathematicians, etc. Right? But a lot of them are still faded crypto, and a lot of them still come to me and like, why? Like, why should I buy crypto? I'm like, it's so hard for me to rationalize a conversation with them too, because I'm not the best at that circumstance. Like, I'm not a PO and who can just go to town
be quite poetic
in a way that pitches it in the right way to them. I'm a trader. Like, I can't pitch it to them in the right way. So
I'm kind of the same. I struggle sometimes because they almost need an understanding. It's kind of like religion. It's pretty hard to knock on a door and just say to someone, you should convert.
Exactly.
Like, it's almost like they have to. This is going to sound really cheesy, but it's almost like you'll find Bitcoin when you're ready.
Yeah.
And your life experience has led you to it. And some people's life experiences will just never lead them to it because
correct. And I was going to say that. Yeah, because they don't need it. Because they don't. Because they've got enough. Because they're a doctor and they're earning $300K a year and they don't need it. Like, that's fine. Exactly.
Don't need the risk. Don't need the risk. You know, they probably should, but I can see why they don't as well. Why learn something new when you can cruise like you're a high net worth individual and 200, 300, 400K a year?
Yeah.
You actually don't have to. You should, I think, but
for the common person, Craig. For the common.
So I think we've still got a bit of a journey ahead of us. But no, certainly in the next 2-3 cycles, 1 million Bitcoin. All it takes, man, is an extra 10% of the world to get it. And it's going to go woof, because another 10% of the world is another 10% of people preaching to other people to convert it. So it's just the conversion rate will increase. It's actually, man, I got to buy way more Bitcoin, bro.
Well, it takes me back to the same point again, Craig. Are you taking profits this cycle on the Bitcoin that you currently own?
Yes, even though I just said everything I said. Because I still believe in cycles.
Yeah.
Still believe in cycles.
And we have the advantage of being in this market every single day.
Yeah, and I like because you and me dip our toes in the water every hour of every day. I can tell when there's subtle changes in temperature. So you and me, luckily, but to the people that aren't in the trenches every day, tune into us, man. Like we'll tell you when to sell. I said loud and clear I was selling at 111. Like it's not like I'm just like Greeny and I just don't like buy, and then we go silent on the sell. Like if you watch a lot of other people's channels, there's a lot of buy talk, but not a lot of sell talk, bro.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, hey, guys, let's take profits talk. So I kind of think sometimes people lead people to the slaughter because it's like buy here. And then and I used to do this on calls. I was guilty of this. I used to make calls. And one of the reasons I never used to say when I was selling is I also didn't want to FUD coins. I'm more specifically meaning memes here, actually, because
well, low caps, right? Because
if I say I'm selling, then fuck. Like I'm going to wreck everyone who joined after me. They're going to be like, "Thanks, dickhead." Like, but on Bitcoin, I'm quite happy to go. I'm fucking out. Like, and you all the best to you guys because me saying I'm out, it's not moving the dial, bro. I can't move it. So I like that because it means I can be really transparent with my trading. But you and I are great, bro. I think you and I have done this really well when talking about ourselves. We've spoken about Solana selling. You and I spoke about selling Ray multiple times. There was no gatekeeper.
That was a 40x, Greg. That was a 40x. So
I mean, you and me were celebrating live on stream selling. So it's not like behind the scenes we're like, guys, buy Ray, and then we're like, haha, sell.
Yeah. No, and that, but again, that was the bear market accumulation period that allowed us to get in those circumstances and give us those opportunities over time. So, I mean, do you think? So, I mean, for BTC to get to second place this cycle,
Google, right? We're going to take Google.
If BTC gets to, say BTC gets to 150K, which I do think that Fibonacci extension is still there. I think that's a very reasonable target. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, historically, the BTC price action actually gets to the 3.618 Fibonacci extension from the high of last cycle to the low of this cycle. So I think going to the 2.618 is actually very reasonable, very, very reasonable. So that's 155K. Now, if we think about that from a market cap perspective, that would mean it goes up by what, 50% or we'll say less. So say 40% from here. So that's around $1 trillion. So that would put it as fifth, but it wouldn't probably, like, for it to flip Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, it probably needs to head towards 200K, which I just don't know if it gets there this cycle personally. I would be very optimistic. I don't know. Let's have a look. Actually, I mean, if we are to follow history, Craig, which I just don't know, though. I just don't know. Like 209 is the 3.618 Fibonacci. And again, just for everyone to educate, how do I measure that?
Feels so good.
How do I measure that? High from last cycle to the low of this cycle, okay? And then that's your extension targets. And if you go back and do that for all of history, it reaches the 3.618. That is always hit, okay, in previous markets. So because of the market cap now, Craig, that is required, even though we've just had 5-6 month bullish candle closes, I don't know if we get to 209K. We might wick there. Who knows? I think this is our top up in this region.
Yeah, bro. I can't wait to feel the euphoria on the timeline. That's going to be amazing, Thomas.
My question is, though, do you think we top before then? Could you see BTC for the first time in history, because it is such a lot of market cap exposure to get there? Do you think that we only top at like 130 or something?
I could see it. Yeah. Should I'm scared to say that?
Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. Okay, let's run it back on history. Okay, so the high of last 2 cycles ago to the low. Okay, so that was a high of 19,000 down to the low of 3,000. Where did we get to? The 3.618.
Yeah.
The 3.618, we got there twice, okay? We got there twice. Oh my God, you guys can't see that. Hold on, let me pull it out. There we go. So 63K. So we actually went above it. Okay, we didn't close above it. And then we also, like, as you can see, we rejected from here as well. That's another sign that the cycle is over, is like once we start a trend down, do we actually hold key Fibonacci extension levels? So if price gets above here, I mean, it's probably better on a lower time frame, but let's go to the weekly. So if price, where are we? Yeah, here. So if price gets to here, right, we make a top, okay, we get to the 3.618 extension. If price comes back down to the 2.618, if we hold that, maybe we are going to push back up here. If not, okay, we reject from there, we break below it, we reject from there. Okay, that's another clear sign that sure, you haven't timed the top, you missed the top by 30-40%, but hey, okay, sick, take profit out here. Again, if you're buying down here, you're still up what? 3-4x. So it's like that's the advantageous of a bear market. So those are the sort of things that you need to consider as well. Let's go back history again. Okay. Where did we get this cycle? This one went crazy, I'm pretty sure, if I remember. Yeah, because it was so early. Like this is the very first ever cycle. Yeah, we went well above the 3.618. So diminishing returns is what I would say as well. Okay, so let's do the 2015 market, the last one. So 3 cycles ago. So where did we get to? Okay, so from the high to the low, where did we get to? 3.618. We went well above the 3.618, right? So over time, diminishing returns. Therefore, do you think that the 2.618 is a very reasonable target if we've always hit the 3.618 in previous times?
Yeah, I think if you're a betting man, which I am, I think that's reasonable. I don't think you're being too bullish there. I will be selling before then. Not all, but I will be scaling out before then, only in case we don't. But I could easily see us ripping higher than that. Easily.
I generally think I'm going to say the top of. I'll put it out here publicly now. You can hold me to it. The top of the cycle will be in this area. It could wick us slightly higher, okay, to 210. It could get just below here, 150, okay, 145. It could. I think it's going to be not in time. I don't know when the top's going to be, but I'm saying in price, that's a reasonable area. Now I know, Greeny, it's a 45% area, but I've just literally shown you for the past hour why I have that thesis. Okay,
man. It's hard to see us not hitting 154, but then also that makes me so nervous to say that out loud. I'm so superstitious, but I just remember last cycle fucking this up. But admittedly, I wasn't using fibs then. It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
Now that looking at that in the fibs, the 618. So it's right in the middle, right? So you're not being pessimistic or too optimistic, I don't think. I see it going there. I actually see it going, like you said, going higher than my conservative outtake on this. I'm just being very careful. But going by the chart, I think we rip higher than 150.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah. I don't want to say almost certainly, but that the data says the likelihood's high.
So I think I've asked you this question before, but for the new viewers, is there a price that BTC gets to that you don't click sell and you hold? So in other words, if BTC only gets to 115, if it only gets to 120, 125, and you haven't sold all of it, do you sell all of it at a period of time or not?
That's a good question. I'm wondering if we might get another pump after this one, which would take us deep into 26.
In BTC specifically, I kind of agree.
So I would keep a moon bag. I would keep a bag. No,
a moon bag, a Memecoin moon bag,
a Bitcoin moon bag. I think if it say got to 125, I will probably be at least half out at 125, somewhere around there.
That's still 15%. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, about half out, I think. Only because I'm well up by then, and I can go, good job, Craig. You fucking kicked ass. Yeah. You may not time the top, but it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. And I kind of want to feel like that going into the frothy top. I want to know I've already won.
Yeah.
Because then I can be not more reckless. I can be calmer, and if I'm calmer, I'm going to trade it better as well. So I want to put myself in a position to trade the best I can.
Yeah.
And to do that, I need to be relaxed. So I will have probably 50% left at that level. Will I sell it if it broke back down and it looked like it put in, lower lows, lower highs? I would probably take 20% more off the table there and leave 30% for the chance of a higher pump.
Yeah.
That's what I think I'll be doing. I'm definitely open to that second pump though. I kind of got a feeling the market might do that actually to kind of confuse people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it might go a shallow 117
Yeah.
and then pull back and then make people think, oh, well, last time it only hit 64 and they only went 69. I'm not prepared to hold on. They'll sell at the 117. It pulls back. I don't know how deep though. That's the thing. And then do I buy back in, man? Then do I go back in with my 50% bag that I took off the table? If it pulls back to like 89, do I have the
Yeah.
balls to go fucking back in? I don't know, man. It's going to be fun. I'm about to have a good time, bro. And I mean, the adrenaline's going to be great.
Well, I mean, like we do the show every day, so we'll be here doing it live, mate. So it'll be good to
You
chat.
guys will see my thesis and Greeny's possibly play out here, so we could probably clip this and see how we go.
Yeah, someone
see
clip
how
that.
I
Yeah,
play
make
this.
it public. Make it public. Okay, we've discussed quite a lot this show. So I mean, that's probably a good end of the week. We don't want to go over time. We went 2.5 yesterday. So as always, guys, huge show. Lots of
That's a
alpha.
good show, though, bro.
Very good show. Very
I'll
good
go back and watch this too.
Yeah. So so we need to like mark this date. So 4th of July, 2025. Okay, that's an easy one to remember. Okay.
Today Will Smith saved the world. That farmer was laughing, flying the plane into the.
Yeah. Big shout out to Will Smith for saving the world on Independence Day back in the day. Very good. One of my favorite movies of all time.
That's a fucking ripper, bro. That's such a good movie. That's that's Will Smith at his peak.
That was Will Smith as well. Around that early 2000s, like I, Robot, I Am Legend, so many 7 pounds. Absolutely, that's a tearjerker. So many quality movies. There's so many other ones that he was in. He was my favorite actor until he obviously went and did what he did more recently.
And he slapped that dude.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that. Anyways, huge show. Lots out there. As always, you can go back and watch it on GC Crypto TV on Twitter. That's the tag. That's the handle, guys. Go give us a follow there so you stay up to date with our daily shows, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, or obviously if you're in Australia, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And then we'll be back Sunday to Thursday American time, but Monday to Friday Australian time. Big weekend ahead, obviously 4th of July, so probably will mean less volatility on the timeline. We'll see, but you never know. There's some really good opportunities. Oh my God. Dude, hold on. Before we leave, Craig, Lucky Coin is going crazy. Let's go. So yeah, that cooking absolutely over there. So that's what I mean. Meme trenches seem to be back a little bit too. So I'll be having a bit more fun down the DGen side. Again, it's actually so nice to kind of be like, oh shit, like last night I could barely sleep because of this coin. Like that's
right. I need that feeling.
I woke up at 4. I was like, wait. Like, am I up still? Am I down still? Like, I haven't had that for a long time. So I don't like it, but I do like it.
I'm going back to a toxic ex-girlfriend, eh?
Oh man, yeah, we don't want to start that conversation. We don't want to start that conversation. So, as always, if you're keen to join us day to day, GTG, you can join us down below. The description has the sign up there, guys. But yeah, have a lovely weekend, everyone. Have a lovely Friday if you're waking up in the other side of the world. And Craig, you have a lovely weekend too, man. We'll be back next week.
We will rendezvous back on Sunday US time, and good luck out there, guys. And hopefully I can get a trench meme coin win. That'd be fucking spectacular, Greeny. I need some money. So have a great weekend, Greeny. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And we will see you Sunday/Monday for the Australians.
Amazing. Thanks, chat. See you all next week. Cheers, Craig.